Welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Nice to go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, just insane.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Tonight's sim racing event brought to you by the Detroit Region Sports Car Club of America. With over 1,400 members, there is no shortage of knowledge, history, and trailblazing ideas like this sim league. Thank you, participants and spectators, for being part of the augmentation and evolution of the region. The DRSCCA, of course, goes beyond the virtual realm. And 2024, we are hosting over 40 events over 60 days that can get you behind the wheel or so close to it that it will blow your hair back. The gamut of behind-the-wheel events includes road racing, road rally, rallycross, autocross, and a competition driving school. Support for the Detroit Grand Prix, Formula SAE, and Street Survival are also amazing opportunities to help sculpt future and professional drivers. Check out DRSCCA.org for more information. Whitlam Group, your first choice for all your labeling needs. Whitlam Groups provides a variety of labeling solutions including packaging, promotional, engineering, brand security, print on demand, and custom solutions. Located in Centerline, Michigan, Whitlam has a heart as big as their labeling options. They give back to their community by supporting the Children's Hospital of Michigan, Adopt a Child Project, Sweet Dreams Projects, COTS Detroit, Animal Welfare Society, and much more. Visit whitlam.com for details. Waterford Hills Road Racing, Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. Waterford Hills, located in Clarkston, Michigan, hosts a 6-weekend race series, competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track is hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on these event days and is open to the public. A nominal $5 entry fee is all it takes you to get close to the action. Check out waterfordhills.com for details. Also, a thank you to the Michigan Term Marshals for their support this season as well. If you want to get close to the action, be sure to check out michiganturnmarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the Detroit Grand Prix. And finally, thanks to our friends Superlap, coming to you live from their studio here today. Located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue, Berkeley, Michigan, Superlap is a sim drive studio, a space to meet and compete. With professional-grade racing simulators, they are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals with education, practice, and training. Maybe you're familiar with the world's most famous International 1 Series? Well, their best driver is a proponent of sim training and racing. If Max Verstappen uses this sim, shouldn't you? You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They also offer league racing just like here at the DRSCCA. Check them out, superlap.world for details. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DRSCCA. Each and every Tuesday night, our Spec Forward racers. And as qualifying has wrapped up and we have got a little bit of time here, got some special guests joining me in the booth. Alex, who'd you bring up here with you today?
Hey, James, I got Dan Cycle here, co-owner of Superlap. And, man, I can't thank these guys enough for hosting a bunch of fast, but a little bit rambunctious. We had to move ourselves into a private room because it's pretty loud in there with these guys socializing, having a fun time. So I'm going to let you interview Dan.
Howdy, Dan. Welcome to the booth.
Thanks for having me.
So, Dan, we kind of covered it last week, what you had going on this Tuesday night, but for the uninitiated, let the fans out there what's going on at Superlap here this evening.
Yeah, we invited the DRSCCA Sim Group over to get together in person. Sim racing, you're always by yourself in your basement or wherever, hiding out. And we found it's a great time to get together and show your skills with everybody else.
Well, Dan, I kind of resemble that remark, but it is spot on. So how many sims do you have set up there at Super Lap? How many drivers came out tonight? And what's the general atmosphere at the virtual meets real raceway?
Yeah, so we have 8 guys actually here, we have 8 sims, and we have 5 guys racing tonight from the studio. And then we have our other 3 sims open for other people here as part of the DRSCCA to just try sim racing for the first time.
Well, that's super, super cool. And I'm assuming you've got a real world background when it comes to cars as well, correct?
Yes, I've done some spec neon racing a while back, and the regular job got in the way, so sim racing took over.
Yeah, it's a lot more affordable. I mean, including the sim, especially when you go to a place like Super Lap, pop in and try things out. But at the end of the day, if you have a little bit of a mistake out on track, it saves you a whole bunch of money not having to put together a spec Ford Racer or a spec neon in your case. So what made Super Lap come into this world? What was the grand idea you guys had building this sim studio?
Our main goal here is to get people from the sim world onto the racetrack. We have my partner is racing in the global spec Miata, and we really just want to get people onto the racetrack. So this is an easy. The barrier to entry is very easy here at the sim studio, and we think it's a great way to get started.
Yeah, it kind of gives guys an idea of how to pick up reference points, how to find brake markers, and then not be afraid or spooked if you're on a track day and somebody's coming by you. So I agree wholeheartedly. Kind of gets you used to the motions before you get out on track.
Right.
And I got James, I got to jump in there. I'm sure the kind of the mantra sounds very familiar. We're out here trying to bridge the gap between sim racing and, real world racing. And as Dan said, this is really the affordable way to do it, to learn those skills. Track time is expensive, but sim time is a fraction of that track time. And you can develop those same skills on the sim that you can do on track. So it's unbelievable, the skill set that I've watched develop, even with the DRSCCA series along the way here. I've seen some of their customers driving this evening. They're fantastic. And, Dan didn't mention, but we are on the very famous Woodward Avenue. I mean, this is the place where drag racing pretty much was invented. There's millions of people that cruise Woodward. There is no better location. We're literally half a mile from the epicenter of the Woodward Dream Cruise. So not only does this venue have some of the coolest, most affordable and educational equipment inside of it, but the location, Mark, these guys hit it.
Yeah.
I love coming to this place.
That's a super good spot. I'm glad you mentioned that, Dan. So we kind of talked about the transition from sim to the real world driving, but how has your experience been coaching drivers that have real life background and start using the sim as an additional tool in the box to get those lap times and work on different things out in the virtual track?
Yeah, we've had people from, have the race experience come in and are looking for that extra edge. It's that we get them the repeatability on the sims. We can actually collect data and show you your throttle position, your brake position, your speed on track, how you're cornering. So we can share that data with them and really help them move to the next level.
Yeah, that's one of my friends. We talked about that last week with Chaikin as well, race control, but the data output from sim racing is still blows my mind most days, because as a racer myself, you can tell everybody, oh yeah, I was absolutely wide through that corner. And then you go look at your telemetry with your crew chief and go, well, you actually, you were coasting for those 20 feet or so, and the data never lies. So I definitely agree. That is an invaluable asset any driver racer can have. And for better or worse, the data never lies.
Yep.
And as Dan mentioned, everybody needs to log in to watch the Global MX5 Cup, because Jim Hayash, did I pronounce his last name right?
Yes.
He's card number 81. And, he uses this stuff to train. and he's going to be running out there at Laguna Seca in 2 weekends. So we all need to log in and cheer him on, out there in real life racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to support the guys on off the track, and that's been one of my favorite parts about calling the two series here at the DRSCCA virtual side of things is seeing the real world competitors come together on a sim twice a week for racing. And I've got to say, it's very unique broadcasting a series that's predominantly real world drivers compared to other series where it's entirely sim backgrounds. It lends itself to a better racecraft, better racing experience than I've seen in the past.
Indeed. Hey, I wanted to, this is Alex one more time, wanted to make a special announcement. We've been waiting for this event because it's so cool to be out here. We just launched the late spring series schedule. Want to announce that we're going to be running the Formula Ford 1600 on Tuesday nights now. We're going to keep the Global MX5 Cup on Thursday nights. We are bringing into the loop a few additional tracks, and we are also launching an endurance component. The schedule is posted on the Discord. If you could take a minute later, it's in the announcements page. Maybe announce some of those dates, but maybe we'll put a link to it on the YouTube broadcast as well. I've been waiting all season to come here to be able to announce something big. So thanks for the opportunity, you guys.
This is going to be super cool. Very cool to have Superlap on board as well. Looking forward to that continued partnership and just a lot of fun out here every Tuesday and Thursday night. And it's going to be very cool for me to see the evolution and augmentation, I believe, is the exact verbiage for the DRSCCA. So definitely couldn't do that without Superlap and the other supporting sponsors. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for some great racing here at Watkins Glen as well.
Yeah, how far are we from the green flag?
We've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And for those fans out there that are wondering how to get in on the action, we have a link to the DRSCCA Discord posted as well in the chat. We'll go ahead and pin that for you as well. So that way we can get some other people that are maybe on the fence and need to go buy Superlap, try out the sim before you invest fully. But, I mean, Superlap's got all the answers for you, and you can get on the action.
Absolutely. 3 to 8 p.m. on weekdays and on weekends.
12 to 8 on Saturday and 12 to 6 on Sunday. Please come by.
So, Dan, we've got less than a minute to go. What is your imparting wisdom for these drivers, and where do the fans need to keep an eye out here at Watkins Glen where all the action's going to be?
Oh, easy on the throttle, light on the steering wheel, and keep your head up.
Yeah, we'll see. This is round 5 of 7. So we're getting to those weeks of those drop weeks are going to make a difference. Russell Soto is definitely hungry. David Bauer's out here running triple screens for the first time. He typically only runs VR, so he's acclimating to that. We probably got Elliot Badinsky out there running somewhere. We got some players. So we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Might Bogart some of those interviews back then too.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to get you guys up here if you want to join me for the interview process with these drivers. I mean, super cool that you've got drivers in-house that have a very good chance at a podium. So we're going to get ready and start this show off. But, Alex, thank you guys so much. Dan, thank you so much for having us a part of the show. And best of luck out on track for those of you that are driving.
Thank you very much, James.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was Alex De La Torre and Dan with Superlap joining us here at the Spectator. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the feature event, the Detroit SCCA Sim Series, bridging the gap between virtual and track racing here at Watkins Glen. I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second as drivers are lining up on our grid here. And let's run through the starting order. On pole, Russell Soto, the number 50 machine. Christopher Murray starting second. Andrew Mowat starting third. Sean Fritz starting fourth. Trent McMillian starting fifth. Michael Schmidt starting sixth. David Bauer starts seventh. Ryan Carwile starting eighth. Dominic Bates starting ninth. Matthew Malone starting 10th. Ari Ritter starting 11th. And we've got Jacob Mowat starting 12th. Cycled on back. Richard Shive starting 13th. Stephen Kahn starts 14th. Mike Newson starting 15th. William Lamb starting 16th. Jason Potter starting 17th. William Lidner starting 18th. Superlap 5, that's Dan himself, starting 19th. David Grzinski starting 10th, and Chris Walker will round out the 21-car grid here today. We've got Corey Gordon here joining us in the spectator area. We've got Jim Ritter. Jim, let me know if I'm saying that last name right. That's one I always get hung up on. Join us in the spectator area. As we're going to do a lap of I-pacing here at Watkins Glen. Also, let us know, ladies and gentlemen, who are you cheering for? Who do you have your support behind? I think that's Christopher Murray rocking a new Pickle Rick back number 29 race car, starting on the front row with Mr. Russell Soto. That's exactly what that paint scheme is. Number 29, a fresh livery. Now you heard Alex Del Torre asking Ryder. Apologies, Jim, as well as Ari Ryder and Jim Ryder, the family out here watching some good racing. So the upcoming series that you heard Alex Del Torre saying, the FF 1600, will be on Tuesdays. Global MX5 continues on Thursday, and Saturday, June 8th, we'll be running an endurance team event at Sebring. So keep an eye out on that one. Our track officials watching on, we'll give a shout out again to the Michigan Turn Marshals, michiganturnmarshals.org, helping to keep us racers on and off the track as safe as possible. And Morton Automotive letting us know Christopher Murray didn't expect to qualify so well in the Spec Forward Racer, but surprised himself with a second place qualifying position. As we get ready for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road, and then we'll fire off the 30-minute feature event. Let's see as the lights go off. And we are underway immediately. Ryan Carwile hops out of line. It's going to be a very busy turn one here at Watkins Glen. Soto leads the field, and I see some three-wide action. Oh, and already, what just happened there? Somebody gets lawn darted. That's the number 19 machine of Sean Fritz. Looks like Jacob Mowat was tied up in that one. Andrew Mowat, Richard Shive, all tied up, and we're going to have some big hits to start the night off. Let's get a quick replay queued up there, see what happened to turn one shenanigans. Get a nice wide angle. You can see a little bit of brake lock as we're three wide. And the number 19 machine of Fritz unfortunately just loses it, and the field comes barreling in there. Richard Shive has come down pit road. The first driver to take a tow here with heavy damage. Soto continues to lead the charge. Trent McMillan up 3 spots into third. Christopher Murray still holding on to third. David Bauer sitting in fourth, the number 16 machine. Where is Ari Ryder? He has historically been extremely fast. He's sitting in fifth, the number 27 machine, right at the tail end of this draft battle. Now, it's going to be very tough here at Watkins Glen to pull away as these cars, I should say, push a lot of air. Ryder making a move against David Bauer, pulls up alongside the number 16, but has the hop back in the draft. You can see the second pack, William Lamb, with the 777 machine. Lamb has the super lap number 20, Stephen Kahn, Dave Grzinski, Mike Knutson, William Linder, Ryan Carwile all in tow. Carwile down 6 spots. He had to do a little bit of evasive maneuvers in turn 1 on that opening lap. Soto, a 208.652. Looks like Murray pushed a little bit wide there in turn 1. That's going to allow David Bauer to work the inside line up the hill. Here comes Ryder, the number 27 machine, with a big run. Ryder all over the back of David Bauer. Now, in the past, we've seen these spec Ford racers here at the DRSCCA really utilizing the bump draft. And that's exactly what Soto and McMillian are doing in first and second, trying to keep that 1/8 of an advantage they have over McMillian. But right behind McMillian, it looks like Ryder almost make a move for the inside line. Looks like Ryan Carwile pushed a little bit wide, the number 71 machine. He's going to lose a slot there to Dan in this super lap back number 20. They're trying to track down Mike Knutson, who sits in that 9th place spot right now. Hard Chargers on track. It's going to be William Lamb, Dan with super lap, and David Grzinski all up 8 positions so far in this feature event. And look at the draft battles here at Watkins Glen. Carwile and Superlap Dave side by side there. Looks like Mike Knutson trying to find a line against William Lamb. Not quite able to make it happen. Still side by side we go. That's going to be the number 71 of Carwile on now the left side of your screen. As Superlap Dave, the number 20 machine, working the inside. Oh, Carwile very wide there. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown. Soto wicking up the pace, but it's David Bauer in third. The fastest lap of the race, a 2:01.6. Unfortunately, Dominic Bates, Richard Scheib still on pit road, getting those machines hammered back in. Carwile with a big lock up there. Pushes wide through turn 1, and what just happened? I think that was Stephen Kahn. No, that was Dan with Superlap. Had a big problem there, the number 20 machine. And he is going to lose a fistful of time as this top 10 pack breaks away. If we go back up front, here's David Bauer charging for the lead against Soto. Ryder and McMillian side by side for third. And it looks like that's going to be Christopher Murray in the Pickle Rick back number 29 machine with a great view here. You can just see Michael Schmidt lagging behind about 9/10 of a second. Oh no, who was that? That was David Bauer. Might have got a little bit of help there. Let's see if we can get a better view of what happened to Bauer. Does he get a little bit of assistance with the spin? Yeah, I think he just got ever so slightly tagged by Ryder. Now Bauer's going to fall back to 7th. It's going to be Soto, Ryder, McMillian, your top 3. Murray still in the hunt for a podium as he's only 2/10 off the back of the number 21. And if we go a little bit further back to what I affectionately call the meat grinder, there's David Grzinski running a personal best right now, up 12 positions. He is in the groove here at Watkins Glen. And he's got Knutson and Carwile linked up nose to tail to behind. There's also Potter in the mix. As Soto has pulled a 1-second gap over the rest of the field. Our race officials watching on here. As Knutson and Carwile linked up nose to tail. Carwile hints at 3 wide, backs out of it, pushing Knutson up a little bit. But Grzinski is going to hold on to that 8th place position. As we just lost, that was William Linder in the 186 machine. We saw him sliding out through turn 1. I think this may be a solo incident for the 186. Unless he gets a little bit of a bump there from Stephen Kahn. No, it's going to be all on the 186. Just drives the car a little bit too deep there through turn 1. Newton and Carwile still working together here in the draft. They're going to take over the 8th place spot. Grzinski falls back to 10th. That is David Bauer ahead of them here as these cars are dancing around. Carwile not afraid to aggressively push some other drivers forward. Now, something must have happened to Soto here, as now Ryder was in a half second of your race leader, and still Grzinski in a bit of a spot there as Jason Potter takes over the 10th place spot. Grzinski falls back to 11th. I think Grzinski's going to fire back here as soon as he gets the opportunity. He does, making a move against Potter deep on the brakes. A little bit too deep there, as Potter has a little bit of a lockup. Grzinski keeps the number 75 machine planted. We go back up front. That's Soto, the number 50 machine. You heard Delatorre saying that he was hungry to lock up a championship here at the DRSCCA, but Ryder mighty quick in the number 27 as they cross the start-finish line. Ryder trying to pick up the draft off of Soto. McMillian also working the draft out from the 3rd place position. And it looks like that top 3 starting to bunch up a little bit. So what's going to happen right now? McMillian's going to try and work with Ryder, the 2nd place driver. Going for a bump draft. Man, aggressively pushing Ryder up towards the front. They're going to make it a 2-for-1, edging out Soto, who suddenly finds himself back in 3rd briefly before taking back over the 2nd place spot. So Ari Ryder might get a lap led here at Watkins Glen. Soto not afraid to make some big moves in that number 50. But Jim Ryder watching along here tonight, he has got to be pumped for his son, Ari, seeing such great racing out of the number 27. That is the 10th spot gain for Ari as well here in today's feature event. And we're not even quite 3rd through this feature event. Oh no! Ryder pushes wide. Tries to shut the door on Soto. It looks like it works. And this could be a drag race through the final couple of corners here. Ryder's going to hold on to it. Is Soto going to try and wait and make a move into turn 1 deep on the braking? I think that's going to be a good opportunity to make some passes here. But there we go. Ryder gets credit for his first lap led of the event. Soto now in 2nd, McMillian in 3rd. Everybody nice and clean through turn 1. Now, these 3 drivers have built up a 3-second gap as we look like McMillian's going to hop out of line here alongside Ryder. Soto trying to figure out who he's going to lend his draft support to. The lap prior, he lost 2 positions in this section of racetrack. McMillian's going to take over the race lead, hugging the inside line. Soto tries to follow suit, working the draft off of both drivers. This is some great racecraft from these 3. Ryder back up into the top spot. Soto 2nd. McMillian still holding on to 3rd. And we're on board Trenton McMillian's number 21. And we'll get to see just how frantic things have been up here in the top 3. As they continue to pull a gap with the rest of the field, now a 3.6 second advantage over everybody else on the circuit. And there's the inside pass from Soto against Ryder. Now, I don't think anybody's in too big of a hurry here. Not wanting to show their cards a little bit too early. If we go a little bit further back, there's Mike Knudsen, Ryan Carwile, David Bauer, 7th, 8th, and 9th. We got a report William Lamb has taken a tow back to pit road. He must have had some heavy damage on that 777. Jacob Mowat unfortunately retired in the number 28. Richard Scheib has been in his pit stall for 11 and a half minutes. Week in and week out, everywhere we look, there's always great racing to be had here. The DRSCCA. As we watch Knudsen, Carwile, and Bauer having a show up front. McMillian has taken back over the race lead by 1/10 of a second. There's Soto and Ryder, nose to tail. Now, we call this in NASCAR races all the time, saying don't push the pusher. As these guys are here to do battle. And it's going to be a mirror image as now Knudsen, Carwile, and Bauer head into the carousel here at Watkins Glen. Bauer trying to carry as much corner speed as he can. But Knudsen fires back, guarding the inside line, the number 383. And you can hear the tires screaming in protest for these drivers. Now we had another report. Matt Malone has moved up into 4th, getting around Christopher Murray. As Knudsen and Bauer still going at it here side by side. McMillian holds on to the race lead, but let's go back up front as Soto and Ryder continue the side-by-side shenanigans here at the Glen. Ryder all over the back gearbox of McMillian, trying to give himself some breathing room as now Soto is going to take the inside line for the race lead here. McMillian falls back into 3rd. Can he take over 2nd? Looks like he can from Ryder. Ryder goes with a high-low, pulls up alongside McMillian. Soto gains about 4/10 here, but I think that's going to be quickly undone as McMillian and Ryder have been working that draft together. I think everybody up front knows as long as we can keep these cars clean till the end, it is still anybody's ball game. And the battling has definitely slowed down the pace with these drivers. Last time by, everybody in the top 3 clicking off high 203s. Over a second slower than their fastest lap of the race, but they have been really going at it here as now McMillian and Soto once going to go side by side. Ryder up into 2nd. Soto's going to fall back to 3rd. Halfway through today's main event, so drivers will be displayed the cross green and white flags next time by, signaling the halfway mark. So it has been a bit of a nail biter here. These 3 drivers able to run so well. Now, I know Soto is at the Super Lap studio tonight. I'm not sure about Ryder or McMillian, if they're racing at Super World or if they're at their usual home rigs for this one. So, since I know it's confirmed, a tip of the hat to Soto as well, while racing on different equipment here tonight and qualifying on pole, showing he still has the pace. Ryder didn't have the qualifying he was looking for with a P11 starting position. Is our hard charger and current race leader up 10 spots. Jim Ryder let us know that Ari is racing from the home rig here today. By doing a great job fending off some Titans as McMillian works the inside line through turn 1. And I mean, lap after lap, this is a testament how easy it is to go from the race lead back to 3rd rather quickly as we charge up the hill. Some West Michigan natives up in the house. I've had the pleasure of being out that side of the country a couple times, racing at Groton near Grand Rapids. So beautiful countryside in Michigan. So let's see. Ryder, after leading the previous lap, got shuffled back to third. Looks like he's going to be content following along with McMillian and Soto for a little while. If we go further back, Ryan Carwile, Mike Knutson side by side. Right behind, that's David Bauer, the number 16. Knutson having a great race as well, currently up 6 spots. Has been as high up as 8 positions at one point in this run. And also want to give a shout out to Dan with Superlap and David Grzinski. They're both up 9 positions as well, our new current hard chargers. As we charge up the hill into left-hander, it's still Soto, McMillian, and Ryder. On board the number 27 machine of Ryder, as McMillian works the inside line against Soto. It's a bit of cat and mouse and a little bit of chess here for these drivers. Taking this opportunity to see what position they want to be in on the final lap. Soto takes back over the race lead. Ryder has a run. Is he going to make a pass? As Soto playing the draft game here. McMillian and Ryder were briefly side by side. Ryder backs out of it, not wanting to put that car in a precarious position. And this is allowing, there we go, Matt Malone, Christopher Murray, Michael Schmidt are very slowly closing the gap to the race leaders. They were at almost a 4-second deficit. Right now it's about 3 seconds. So I think that second pack's going to try and stay in line here, working that draft a little away at the advantage the top 3 has. As McMillian and Soto side by side for the lead. Soto on the inside line. Ryder looks to move his car into the same position. Oh no, we had another incident reported. This time it was Sean Fritz piloting the number 19. Fritz already has some damaged bodywork on that machine. Let's see what happens here. Just loses the tail end through turn 1 and around she goes. Dan with Superlap, David Grzinski side by side for 11th. Another battle we have out on track, Michael Schmidt, Christopher Murray, Matthew Malone. Running 4th, 5th, and 6th here, trying to whittle away at the 3-second advantage your top 3 have. So with less than 10 minutes left to go, this is where drivers in the top 3 are going to be thinking about what track position they want on the final lap. Do they want to be comfortably out front? Soto, can he possibly get a breakaway? Or do you want to be in the cockpit of Ari Ryder's 27 to try and work a double draft pass right at the tail end of this? These drivers are extremely talented, so they're taking the time to measure each other up, see what their strengths might be, what the other driver's weaknesses might be. Let's see, does Ryder try and make it a 2-for-1 at the long stretch of tarmac here at Watkins Glen? McMillian pulls out the draft alongside and ahead of Soto. There's Malone and Murray, 4th and 5th, trying to crawl their way back up to a possible podium battle. And Malone and Murray are in a very good spot here. If there's any sort of big mistake in these top 3, they can find themselves looking at a podium. And I just got reported, this is pretty cool. Your 3rd place driver, Ari Ryder, will be doing the SCCA Waterford School this weekend with a 280ZX. So that's going to be really cool to see the number 27 machine run so well here on the sim and then get out on track for the school coming up. Again, we're all about bridging the gap here at the DRSCCA. McMillian up front, Ryder in second. Soto peeking to the inside line. Oh, Ryder having to run a little bit wide there offline. And the counter, the lap timer, and the laps are dwindling with how much longer we can see these drivers out for. It's about a 2-minute lap for everybody as Ryder pulls way outside the draft there. Soto giving a shove to McMillian across the start-finish line, but look how quickly Ryder closes the gap. Be able to focus on his regular brake marks. McMillian's going to pull a half-second advantage here coming up the hill, just about 6/10 as Ryder and Soto go side by side. McMillian's going to try everything he can to try and break the draft of those behind him. Soto and Ryder still side by side. But look at that, the draft is massive here, immediately reeling back in McMillian. And behind them, Malone and Murray, staying true to course, have whittled it down to 2.5 seconds back from your race leaders. Soto working the inside line against McMillian for the lead. McMillian's going to carry a little bit more corner speed. Ryder follows suit. Soto gets shuffled back to third. Malone has got it right at 2 seconds back from the top three. He can sniff the podium from where he's at. Now, as Jim Ryder pointed out in the spectator area, this is where the tires also falling off for these drivers. Going to make it tough to make those gutsy passes as McMillian and Ryder side by side. Now Soto has a view of the action. McMillian, the number 21, Ryder, the number 27. Ryder's going to guard the inside line here. Holding on to the race lead as Soto muscles alongside McMillian. And there, a second and a half back is Malone and Murray. We've got about 3 laps left of racing if I'm doing my broadcast math correctly up here. Oh, I would love to see Malone and Murray claw their way back and get into the battle for a podium. I'd also love for these top 3 to keep it as clean as they have. This has been some fantastic racing, some great on-track chess matches going on here. Ryder, Soto, McMillian blasting up the hill. Malone and Murray losing a little bit of time here, only have that 2-car draft back. If the top 3 keep working together, they're going to build another advantage back in their favor, but there's a little bit of bumping and grinding up there. Maybe a little bit of netcode as we saw some cars hopping around. That's going to give Malone the little bit extra he was looking for. It's Ryder, Soto, McMillian, 1, 2, 3. Malone and Murray round out the top 5 here. Malone is going to hope that these top 3 keep dicing it up so he can interject himself in the party, but it looks like Murray has fallen off slightly in the Pickle Rick, back number 29. Looks like the top 3 content running single file for a little bit. I think they saw the rear view mirrors of Malone and Murray closing that gap behind them. Wanting to keep it single file for a lap or so. Build up a little bit of safety barrier. So the white flag, they can throw it down. But McMillian spins and pulls right out into traffic. And there's car parts scattered everywhere. Christopher Murray, who had such a good shot at a podium, has it all undone here. So let's see what happens. Looks like it's going to be a solo incident for McMillian. And that is a rough spot to pass. There's really no good place. And really, McMillian, no fault of his own, couldn't have done anything at that point to try and take evasive maneuvers. Just not enough time, and that is going to end the night of Mike Knudsen, Trent McMillian, Christopher Murray, all retiring back to pit road. So it's going to be a two-car shootout here. Ari Ryder, Russell Soto first and second. Michael Schmidt now up into third. Now, if we pan back for third, that podium spot not over yet. Matthew Malone, who I thought had some front hinge damage, yes, does on the front left, has worked his way back up into third, denying Michael Schmidt that podium position. So the top three far from decided at this point. Now, with it being a two-car breakaway up front, how is that going to play out? Both Soto and Ryder no longer have a dance partner, with Trent McMillian to help out and choose who might be using that draft up towards the front. It is going to be every man for himself in the top two. Malone holding on to that third place spot, 3/10 up over Michael Schmidt. And I believe this is going to start the white flag lap. Let's see if we see our flagman Barney throwing the white. Yes, the white flag is out here at Watkins Glen, so this is going to be the final hurrah for Ryder and Soto to see who's going to pick up the win. You've got Ryder, the number 27, predominantly red, white, and blue. Soto, the number 50, the white, gray with yellow accents. Still nose to tail. If Soto's going to make a move, when's he going to do it? Soto pulls up alongside Ryder. This is for the race lead. Soto makes it happen under the binders. Ryder tries to go for a little bit of high-low, can't find an opening. He's about 2/10 back off the back of Soto. Is Ryder going to wait until the start-finish line to try and draft pass for the win here? Unfortunately, Christopher Murray is sustaining too much damage to get back out on track. Less than a half lap left to go. Right now it's Soto out front, Ryder behind him. Where's Ryder going to take a lunge at it? Pulls up right along, right behind Soto, but loses a little bit of time here as we come out the final couple of corners here at Watkins Glen. Does Ryder have anything left in the tank? He's trying to close the gap to Soto. Soto has a half-second advantage here, making it 6/10. Ryder falling back a little bit. And it looks like it's going to be Russell Soto will pick up the win here at Watkins Glen. Ari Ryder bringing it home in second. And Michael Schmidt will squeeze into that final podium spot as Matthew Malone gets edged out into the fourth place spot. But man, what some great racing amongst these drivers. We're going to work on getting these drivers up here to victory lane. And then we will start the podium celebration sponsored by Superlap. We've got Michael Schmidt. We're going to wait on Ryder and Soto. What a great replay there. Right as we pan over to it is Michael Schmidt driving through bodywork. Wonder if I can get another angle of that. So you're on board. I just missed it. What a great shot of bodywork being launched to orbit as Michael Schmidt cruises right on through. And speaking of Michael Schmidt, looks like we've got him ready here, that third place spot. Michael, the seas parted. We just saw a replay of you driving through bodywork scattered across the track, but able to bring home that third here tonight.
Yeah, I bobbed and weaved every time I should have, avoided a couple wrecks. It was an interesting race for sure. I was starting to lose hope. I was losing Chris and Matt, and then there was that last wreck.
Now, it seems like when drivers are so equally matched on pace, everybody's on their absolute limit. And it seemed like that was the result of some of the big incidents we had here tonight, was just drivers giving it 99.5% and had nothing left as a buffer, it looked like.
Yeah, it was crazy. This track is probably the draftiest of the tracks. So even if there is a little bit of a gap, you can hold on to the guys in front as long as you're under that second. It just sucks you right back to them.
Yeah, it seemed like it was impossible to break away, and these Spec Ford racers push a whole lot of air. But coming into tonight, Michael, what game plan did you have to try and bring home the best result possible?
Just keep it clean and survive. Just let the race kind of take shape and run my line, and it worked out for me.
Well, glad it worked out well. Super cool to have you back up here in the top three. And before I let you go, sign off and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make it happen here tonight?
Shout out to all the guys that show up to practice. It's a lot of fun running with them and getting the racecraft dialed in for the big nights like tonight.
Awesome. A lot of fun. Michael, thank you as always, bud, and congratulations on third.
Thank you, sir.
That was Michael Schmidt bringing it home. And third, up next, we've got Ari Ryder joining us, the number 27 machine. Ari, man, what a night. Up 9 positions, able to have some great racing. Suddenly, it's just you and Soto here at the end in a drag race.
Yeah, it was really exciting. He's a really great driver. It's always fun to race against him.
Yeah, it's so cool for me as a broadcaster and a race fan to watch you guys. Everybody inside that top three just put in clean moves, clean passes, and you guys were absolutely on the ragged edge the entire time. How was the tire fall off feeling during that event?
Oh, it's pretty severe. I definitely noticed myself moving the braking points back, and there were a couple of spots in that pack where we kind of got close to overlapping each other, where some of us were moving them back and some of us were trying to keep them going. So
yeah, I think I saw 1.2 on the straight, Ari, that somebody had some netco because all three of you guys the cars just sporadically jumped around during that race.
yeah, I didn't really notice that, but maybe it was something on your guys' end. I know iRacing can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, a little peculiar every now and then, but Ari, you had your dad, Jim, cheering you on the entire time here tonight. That was super cool. You qualified 11th. Did you ever think a podium was going to be possible after the qualifying you had here tonight?
Oh, no way. I was actually expecting a really chill race in the mid pack, but then something kicked off on lap 1. I wasn't quite sure, but I guess it put me up to 5th almost right away. So I was surprised.
Well, glad you were able to take data and put those laps down quickly. That was quite a fantastic run. And before I let you go off and cool down from this one here at Watkins Glen, who do you want to give a shout to that helps put you up here in second place?
So yeah, the folks at Super Lap for one, they put on a really good event with everyone over there. Great sponsorship, great people to have. Once again, everyone who puts on the league, Schmidt, Soto, Alex Del Torre, all those guys. My friends at Team Goon Squad for commentating and making it a fun time. And just everyone who helps me out.
All right, always a pleasure talking to you, bud. Quickly becoming one of my favorite drivers to call the action for, and looking forward to continuously watching you progress in sim and the real world. And best of luck at the Waterford School this weekend coming up as well, buddy.
Yeah, I'm flattered. Thanks a lot.
Thank
I'll
you,
do my
sir.
best.
That was Ari Ryder bringing it home in second. That kid's awesome. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Russell Soto in the top spot. Russell, it was a game of chess out there at Watkins Glen. And I mean, for 15 minutes straight, you guys in the top three were putting on a fantastic show of racecraft.
Absolutely, James. I mean, and it was just so close the entire race. I really knew I did not want to lead into the last lap. And I noticed that we were all pulling back, and none of us wanted to lead going into the last lap. But yeah, it was just a game of chess the whole time. Really good racing.
Now, Russell, I've seen you race a ton of cars, hundreds of races over the last couple of years, but it looks like these Spec Ford racers are probably the most draft-dependent cars that I've seen you drive and me broadcast, I think, ever. I mean, even if you're a second ahead, it seemed like if two drivers were working together, they were to reel you in and get right back in the action.
Absolutely. It really is a game of, knowing who's going to be placing the car where. I mean, even the little things like me getting Ari at the last lap there on the front straight. I didn't go completely past him because I want to position my car side by side so we can overtake, and so you couldn't tuck back in the draft. It was just a lot of thinking ahead, and I'm just really happy to win, man.
I mean, what a night to win, too. Pick up the win, Watkins Glen at the Super Lap Studio. I mean, what more can you ask for a sim event?
Absolutely. I mean, I acclimatized to this rig very well. It's a very well set up rig, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves with the thank yous, but I just want to really thank everyone here at Super Lap that showed up.
Yeah, and I do want to touch on that, Russell. I talked about during the broadcast. I mean, we're all drivers, racers, creatures of habit. How tough is that to hop in what is effectively feels like a different car and then kind of learn as you go in a new setup?
It's very challenging. I mean, I practiced on my own rig the night before, try to implement everything as much as I could onto this rig, and luckily, the setup of both rigs was similar enough that I felt I could, get into the rig and do well. I gotta say, I think these rigs are really well set up for just about anybody, because I know a couple of my colleagues here racing tonight really like the rigs as well, and they were up to pace. So really,
there's gonna be some drivers going out and upgrading after this one, I think. But Soto, a fantastic run, and you're no stranger to this part, my friend. But you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps bring home such a prestigious win?
I want to dedicate this race win to Super Lap for putting on this amazing event. The rigs were fantastic. Hospitality was great. Everyone that came out to watch, everyone that came out to race and experience sim racing, even for the first time, it was lovely to meet them all. And Dan, seriously, thank you for putting on incredible facility and studio. I'd like to thank, of course, my family watching. My dad's in New Jersey, my mom's traveling to the Philippines, and everyone else, my friends and family from New Jersey and Michigan, who come out to watch these races.
Awesome. Russell, always a pleasure, bud. Hope to see you back up here next week. And again, congratulations on a fantastic run.
Thanks so much, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Russell Soto bringing it home in the top spot at the Super Lap Open House for the DRSCCA racers. Ari Ryder finishing second, Michael Schmidt rounding out the top three. On behalf of the DRSCCA, Whitlam Group, Superlap.World, and the Michigan Turn Marshals, as well as Waterford Hills Racing. My name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Tuesday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.